Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Johnny. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, he did not mention which version of this film he wanted me to do a commentary on, so I had to pick, and I guess I'll do the longer cut, which is the 2 hour, 13 minute, 51 second. Maybe that's the director's cut? I don't know. I mean, I like this film. I've seen this film, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it. But I'm paused at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And then for syncing, at least in this version, something called New Market Films, as we have the sounds of thunder. We have another logo, Pandora. New Market Presents. And associated with Pandora. Flower Films Production. Yeah, for syncing. Richard Kelly film. Richard Kelly has that gone to do a lot of films. I mean, he did like director's cut of this. He did Southland Tales, which I did not like at all, and he did The Box, which I honestly found rather forgettable. But really, those are the only films he's made, and this one, when it came out, definitely became a cult film. Has that bit of a stature. And here we have Jake Gyllenhaal, who would go on to be in The Source Code. He was Mysterio in the new Spider-Man films. Been quite a few other stuff. Jake Gyllenhaal is a pretty good actor, playing that character Donnie, as he doesn't quite understand why he's out here sleepwalking or the like. The way I think of Donnie Darko is a David Lynch type of film that I actually care about. People get mad at that because how can you not love David Lynch? I'm not a David Lynch guy. But this one I could deal with because the story I just find more interesting to actually try to figure out. Like a Rubik's Cube. You're trying to figure it out. And I still don't understand it 100%, but I do find it an interesting movie. And no, I'm not a fan of S. Darko. But, you know, the director definitely had a vision to this. Good looking shots. Solid soundtrack. I mean, I like this song. Tear us apart. I know at the end of the film you have Mad World. Mad World. But I thought this was a good song to use. Definitely has a Brandon, you were there. Never tear us apart. And there's Maggie Gyllenhaal, actual sister Jake. And here we're getting sort of to know our main characters here. As you look into here, then a little bit more into the school, seeing the different students and such. Now we have the younger sister, whose dance recital will be fairly important to later in the film. You have the mother character. Where is Donnie? That is the question. Where's his mind at? And it's not like the family's like a mean, rude, nasty family. Just a typical family. All the actors I thought did a fairly good job, and Donnie's character sort of, I don't know if I want to say anarchist, maybe close to that, but he's kind of in this mind frame of not really caring about anything. And then as the movie goes on, he pretty much is tasked to save the world, and by the end, does something that, although really by the end, and it does make you wonder, spoiler for those who haven't seen it, did Donnie need to die? Did Donnie have to die? Or I guess him dying... Yeah, I still don't know if he needs to die, but... They definitely feel like a brother and sister in that scene. Do you call me a fuck, yes? Suck a fuck? Yeah. How do you suck a fuck? And it's one of those things with Donnie is that, again, he's kind of lost. I just like how you say a lot of kids are lost at that time period in their lives. And trying to figure out what to do next with life. And you got the idea maybe he's been on medication before. Pills, that sort of thing. They go to taking those pills. I forget if the pills are for depression or for other endeavors. And that's the thing, is that you have a character that's just completely lost and not really the most likable person at the beginning. I do like the father character in this. I thought the father character was rather likable. You're not a bitch. You're bitching, but you're not a bitch. I guess you'd also get into the thing of, is this guy schizophrenic the whole time? But it does feel like the director is really dovetailing into the supernatural angle. But again, I'm sure there's some people that would still look at this as more of a, again, the mind of a schizophrenic, but I guess one thing to mention, this is supposed to take place in 1988, I believe. So the dawning of a decade. As much as people want to complain about how it was in the 80s, it's a lot better than it is today. It says a lot when you look at George Bush, you go, man, that'd be a better president than what we have today. Read my lips. move my computer a little bit to see it better. This would be pretty much the start of the countdown as this force kind of moves Donnie out of the way so he doesn't die, because he's going to be what they call the living receiver. Some random piece of fate has screwed things up. Because the best way to describe this is it deals with universes. You know in Back to the Future Part 2, when Doc Brown had that thing where he had the chalkboard 85 and then Ultra 1985? Imagine we're in this primary, and then as soon as this happens, he's going to leave kind of this dazed state, as just so that he could be alive when this engine drops down the room. And it's an engine that seemed to appear out of nowhere, and it's like, where's the plane? And it's this weird thing that it's some random bit of fate, whatever randomness it's been thrust into here is not supposed to be. And that kind of screws up the whole space-time continuum. And imagine a timeline, this random thing of an engine that popped in with no plane, so now it's broken over, and we're in this universe the whole time, for the rest of the movie. So this voice and other stuff help guide Donnie to do what needs to be done, otherwise everything will be gone and dead. So it's like, in a weird way, like a kind of an interesting way of telling us, almost like a superhero movie as well. And you find out later why this voice is figures in this suit. Just to jump ahead, some outside force is helping him out in order to save the world, and in order to do that, it uses this manipulated dead thing. And that's when later on he sees the guy who actually killed his girlfriend, and he pretty much has to shoot the guy so that he's dead, so that it kind of works. I'm already confusing people. Like, it's easy for me to think in my head, it's hard to express with words. But this is around the time the engine's gonna fall. There you go. So pretty much he has to put this back into play with, there's an engine but no plane, and make those fit back together. Yeah, Patrick Swayze, may he rest in peace, is the Reverend, who we found out has a few sick, perverted secrets of his own. And I missed Patrick Swayze. Always been a fan of Patrick Swayze. He was in, Roadhouse and Next of Kin and Uncommon Valor, which is a personal favorite of mine from the early 80s. 1983. Steel Dawn. Things of that nature. Like I said, I appreciate what the director was doing because he took a very unique, very easy to be confusing idea, and again, I know a lot of people they kind of feel this way with David Lynch films, but to me, I can still gather some type of story, some type of ideas and ideals that I gather from this. I get much more out of it than I do David Lynch movies. I just do. And also, it's just sad with the director. He never could get up to par with this ever again. But yeah, Patrick Swayze. It's sad that he passed away too young from cancer. Way too young. I even like Black Dog. Now the mom there, I should mention, of Donnie Darko, you may recognize her. It's Mary McDonnell. She was Bill Pullman's wife, the first lady in Independence Day from 1996. She was in that film. From what I understand, even Christopher Nolan had helped this film in getting in the theaters, at least for a little bit, and helping get its release. And I have Flower Films, one of the production companies earlier, that's actually Drew Barrymore's company, and she has a part in the film. Holiday Inn. Never stayed at Holiday Inn. I mean, I'm sure I'm not missing much. I'm just saying I've never been in a Holiday Inn. So pretty much throughout the film, Donnie's pretty much guided by this force to, in 28 days, get up to this event where he got to get elements, create a vortex, and send, I don't know how to put it. Something about like sending the engine, ripping it out, and sending it back, and even then, as I try to explain, I'm like, well, I'm already confusing myself with that. You gotta get a plane, fly in this part, and then create this vortex, and send this engine through. Which is weird, like, why would you need to send it? I guess, like, it's so weird way to create a reason why the engine appeared. Again, the idea I still find it interesting, even if I don't understand it 100%. What's funny, if you have the DVD of this, the director's cut, there is a commentary with the director, and Kevin Smith is with him, and this is when Kevin Smith was worth a crap. And he kind of became friends for a little bit with the director, and he even had a cameo in Southland Tales. But yeah, I mean, despite my feelings of Kevin Smith nowadays, I think he's a fucking sellout, lame ass pot smoker. That nothing wrong with people smoking pot, but for him, it's for the worse. And he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and fucked up He-Man, fucked up like his last 5 movies, and but when he was worth this bit, Kevin Smith was funny on the commentary with that. See, at least Donnie Darko, at least Donnie's like, hey, leave her alone. He's being somewhat, you know, decent in that part, as these guys are being rude to her. Here's where we get to know the people in the school. And yeah, I like the use of music in this, and these tracking shots where you just see the characters will be following throughout it. We have with the family early. We have this scene here, and then try the end of the film with Mad World. Here we have the teacher who loves the Reverend, and she's supposed to go with the dance recital, but things are changed and manipulated so that the mom goes instead. Song head over heels. Of course, this 80s gotta have the cocaine. I've said before, things were much better when cocaine was in the mix. Movies were better, music was better. Cocaine should come back. Because, you know, cocaine, it's a hell of a drug. And we're not there yet, but I'm head over heels. We have our teachers. One is Drew Barrymore, and the other, I think he was on the TV show ER, which I didn't watch much of. I forgot his name. Noah Wyle. Here's their dance they're doing for that dance recital later on. I know one of these students is a very young Seth Rogen. Like a very young Seth Rogen. We might see here in Drew Barrymore's class. You know, she says the pain of puberty, that's kind of same with Donnie by the end having to have this moment to actually choose to save the world, to man up, to if he has to, again, maybe by the end he does have to die. So that's a very daunting task, and to accept it takes a certain amount of courage. See, Donnie Darko is kind of in that mind frame of explaining the story, but destruction, not wanting to change things. Like he's sitting there going, I'd be fine with letting the world burn. I mean, with his kind of prickly demeanor, but few moments to shine, like stick up for that Asian girl. But then this girl he's going to fall in love with gives him. Granted, there should be a lot more reasons for him to do it. His family, his mom, his dad, all that stuff. But again, you have a kid who's in this frazzled mind state, taking pills for whatever. And this will be kind of the spark of, I don't know, you could say maybe Donnie regaining or gaining his humanity, or whatever else you want to put it. Drew Barrymore. I mean, Drew Barrymore is one of those you don't really hear from a lot nowadays. I mean, she has, I guess, her talk show now, morning show, whatever the hell you want to call it, and she had a voice cameo in Stream 5. I think very early on, if you hear like the PA system of the school, it's Drew Barrymore's voice as like the principal, whatever the hell. I can't remember the last film she was in. Now this old this old woman, she has this tendency of just doing the same thing over and over again. Checks the bell box, goes back in. And there's never anything there. Now, we don't hear what she whispers, but from what I understand, this may have been someone who went through what Donnie went through back in the day. But with her, it like messed her mind up, made her go crazy. I mean, if it was to save the world, apparently the world was saved, but then she lost her mind. But I believe that's the case. I'm laughing because of these just so corny, laughable like PSA of the Reverend that sadly I could buy these being a real thing. There's Seth Rogen in the back there, right in the middle of the screen. I don't know if I'll cut back, but that's Seth Rogen behind, and in the middle of the screen behind Jake Gyllenhaal. Like Jake Gyllenhaal's here, but Seth Rogen's in the back. And that's Seth Rogen again, right? Kind of behind, yeah, to the left of Jake Gyllenhaal's shoulder. Like, to the left of the screen behind Jake's shoulder. That's Seth Rogen. But yeah, I mean, Patrick Swayze, Red Dawn, Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ghost, love Ghost, and then Point Break was successful. And then he had some films that bombed, like City of Joy, Fatherhood, Tall Tale. I like Black Dog, but it didn't do the best. And then he went kind of the direct-to-video route. Letters from a Killer, One Last Dance, 11/14, Powder Blue. I've seen. I wasn't really big on that one. I think this is only in direct. I can't remember what's in the director's cut, what's not. I do like the design of the bunny figure. It's definitely a creepy design. And he's kind of like silently guided to do these certain things. whether the elements that he needs to do what he needs to be done, or whatever the hell. But yeah, sadly Patrick Swayze passed away. Was it 2009? I wanted to mention the dad because I thought he did a good job. Holmes Osborne. Holmes Osborne, I thought he was very likable as the dad. As a Oh, yeah, I was wondering where the guy who plays the dad here. I remember him now. He was, well, I didn't. I never. I saw this. He was on the episode of the X Files that was the Millennium crossover. Lance Henriksen. He was in that. And you see that accent bed into that, and they made me do it. Like, how the hell can you do that by yourself? That'd be some type of supernatural element to it. But kind of like Unbreakable, it's not in your face with effects. Now, Joe Gyllenhaal, before this, as a kid, he was. I think his first role was Billy Crystal's son in City Slickers, which I love City Slickers. Yeah, that's Seth Rogen again. Going through his, yeah, Bubble Boy. I did enjoy that one. That was a fun movie for what it was. The Day After Tomorrow, I could watch. I wouldn't say I love the film, but I could watch as a time waster for the cast, Dennis Quaid and such. Source Code I rather enjoyed, and to watch was decent. Nightcrawler was well made. Spider-Man Far From Home he was in as Mysterio. He was in the new Michael Bay film Ambulance, which completely bombed. Of course, Brokeback Mountain, that was a big movie for him. The Ambulance didn't really do anything for me with the trailer. I never cared to see Ambulance. Plus, it seemed like a lot of the movie was in the trailer anyway. Just like some trivia, at the rap party, Seth Rogen and Jake Gyllenhaal agreed that they had no idea what the movie was about. It was going to be released directly to home markets. Christopher Nolan was one of the factors in securing a cinema release. Later on in the movie theater, originally they were going to be watching Chud, but there were problems finding who owned the rights to the movie. This is a time when that film, there was no DVD release of Chud at that time. Sam Raimi allowed him to use and distort footage from The Evil Dead free of charge. During conversations about sex with his therapist, the script had Donnie's fantasy to be about Alyssa Milano, but they had to change it to Christina Applegate due to legal reasons. Solon plays as Donnie's riding his bike home, and the theatrical version is The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. On the set of Charlie's Angels, Drew Barrymore and Richard Kelly, the director, agreed that her production company Flower Films would produce the film for $4.5 million. If Drew Barrymore had not stepped in, the movie would have either gone straight to video or cable TV via Starz. The first edit was 2 hours 45 minutes. Seth wrote his first line in this, his first feature film, is "I like your boobs." That actually fits with them. Vince Vaughn reportedly turned down the part of Donnie because he thought he was too old. Mark Wahlberg was interested, but he wanted to play the part with a lisp. Jason Schwartzman was going to do it, but then there were scheduling conflicts. And then they got to Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't most kids in school just think about fucking a lot? You just described it in most people in school. She took your pants off, buddy. Nah, not really. I'm sure that's what he's hoping. He wishes for that. At the same time, it's like written in the fucking, like in the ground. So would writing with chalk really? Would that really still fit? Didn't say shit. Maybe cut the back of your fucking head, guy. Cut the hair off. Wannabe mullet. Yeah, and I think you're a shitter. How about you take your face and put in the hand dryer? Fucking fatoop. Well, you take the beer, I'll take the pussy then. Probably the first time you'd ever hear about Smurf sex in a movie. And there's a little white pants. What's the point of living if you don't have a dish? Man, Diane, why you gotta get smarring us? Like, just pissing on their fun. It was pretty much Jake Gyllenhaal telling them what the truth of the Smurfs, that no, they can't do that. So the woman they called Grandma Death, I think she wrote the book that Donnie reads about the time travel stuff. I didn't kind of into the fact that maybe she experienced something like this. As what helped fry her mind. I think that would have been nice if, like, somehow there's like at least one thing, one letter that snapped her out of it, and then she actually went back into the house. Spike Play's teacher Drew Barrymore is only 5 years older than Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, it makes sense because you're full of shit, so of course feces would be in there, lady. What filth. It's that Cuties again, is it? Oh no. No one gives a fuck what you think, lady. Shut up. You got away with it, and the meddling kids and their damn dog won't stop you either. Lady, have you read the Bible? There's a bunch of violent shit in that too, lady. And you're butt boys with the Reverend. There's a lot of violent shit in that too. People have been fed to lions and... It is a very trippy scene. I could do anything I want, so can you. Almost kind of like further showcasing that, in a way, for this matter days, he's kind of a superhero. You want pornography? Let me stand and pull out down my pants. There's your pornography. But that's what I mean. I like that the parents here are not. It'd be very easy to make them so difficult, unlikable, one note, one-sided, douchebag. They don't. They're so bitchy and angry and upset that they don't understand their kid. That'd be very easy to do that, and that's been done a multitude of times. That's just way overdone. So I like that the parents are just more just natural. Hey, little sister, I'm fucking crazy. That's my point. In a way, that poem is kind of what he's going to become. He's going to be the guy that sends the impending death away. Sort of his time in this classroom with Drew Barrymore as a teacher and meeting this girl at the end is what kind of helps him grow that bit more of conscious to go forward in this heroic step. There's the boom mic. Got back to the day of fucking VHS tapes and antenna TVs. People don't even know what the hell VHS is nowadays. Trying to remember, is this where he curses the teacher out, or sorry about the constant throat clearing. I love the dad was ready to laugh at that. I did. I love the dad character. Very likable. Even how he's laughing about it. And there's a lot of people who like the film. It gets like an 8 on IMDb. Pretty high. Pretty high. Succumb to the path of dit suckage, lady. Hmm. 20 days remain. So Drew Barrymore kind of opens him a little bit in the eyes of values, and this will open a little bit into the eyes of the technical aspects. He's the one who's going to show him the time travel book. Talk about Back to the Future. I like the musical score here too. Very subtle, but very like atmospheric. That's where you find out the old lady, Grandma Death. She knew. She knew about time travel back then. Chapter 1, The Tangent Universe. Incidents when the fabric of the fourth dimension becomes corrupted are incredibly rare. If a tangent universe occurs, it will highly unstable, sustain life for no longer than several weeks. Eventually it will collapse upon itself, forming a black hole within the universe. Sorry I'm just getting lost into the film. Pretty much Donnie's big fears to be alone, dying alone, all that stuff. It's just to be alone. Maybe that's by the end why he laughs. That even though he's probably going to die, he's not alone because there's this girl that he was in love with him. And for a pretty tough role to wrap your mind around, I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job with it. So I have an article here that it's their attempt to explain the movie. So let me read this. The vast majority of Donnie Darko takes place in a parallel universe. From the moment the clock in the Darko's house strikes midnight, 10 minutes to the film, right up to Donnie's hysterical laughter in bed, the setting in the film is Tangent Middlesex, a parallel dimension, spontaneously created, which exists only during the 28 days that cover the majority of the film's action. The through line of the film is Donnie Darko's quest to erase the Tangent universe before it destroys the world. To understand what actually occurs, helps to have read the philosophy of time travel, but it's difficult since it's an imaginary one. But much of the book's text is included on the film's website, and DVD is now incorporated to the director's cut. Time, usually stable, will occasionally become corrupted for reasons unknown. When this happens, a tangent universe is created, an alternate reality parallel to the primary universe in which we all live. If a tangent universe occurs, it will be highly unstable. Eventually it will collapse upon itself or a black hole, capable of destroying all existence. During that collapse, a time-space vortex will form that leads back to the birth of the tangent universe. It falls to one person to do whatever necessary to put the world back in order and keep the tangent universe from destroying the real world when it collapses 28 days. That superhero is, of course, Donnie Darko. A 16-year-old with emotional problems. This whole bubble effect was kind of interesting. Kind of reminds me of the water thing in the Abyss. Just not with up to, it's not state-of-the-art special effects, but interesting idea. Which leads him to this thing he's going to need later, which is the handgun. Hand in hand with the creation of this tangent universe, the spontaneous appearance of an artifact made out of metal. It will show up near the epicenter of the tangent, inexplicably. In order for disaster to be averted, the artifact must be sent through the time vortex back to the primary universe, back to before the split in dimensions occurred. So that's the thing. Something happens. This thing is the anomaly. It gotta be sent back to the main universe. Donnie's the living receiver, chosen one to avert catastrophe. You get superpowers, strength, telekinesis, see into the future, but you get hallucinations and the people around you tend to fear and attack you. As we get to Chapter 2, Water and Metal. Water and metal are the key elements of time travel. Okay, thanks for letting me read that. It was only up for like 10 seconds. I mean, 10 seconds. The manipulator refers to pretty much everyone else in the movie. They are prone to irrational, bizarre, and often violent behavior. They're to help the chosen one fulfill his task. Characters set up like pieces on a chessboard. To push Donnie towards his eventual destiny, return that jet engine to its proper time and place. It seems clear from comments Kelly makes during the duty commented that the person in charge here is basically God. God arranges the people on that tangent around Donnie Darko in such a manner that their actions lead inevitably to Donnie's delivering the jet engine back through time. Frank is the boyfriend of Donnie's sister, Elizabeth. Frank himself never meets Donnie until their fateful encounter on Halloween Eve. The Frank who speaks to Donnie on the golf course is kind of a ghost Frank. A remnant of Frank who, just Donnie shoots him in the eye within those 28 days, can move freely in time throughout the Tangent universe. Frank's purpose is to serve as Donnie's guide through this universe, leading him towards clues and offering tasks that will smooth Donnie's way towards the goal. The reason he's in the bunny suit is because it's a costume party for Halloween. It's also kind of like White Rabbit leading Alice down the hole into deeper adventures. Once he has killed Frank so that the manipulated to help him during these 28 days, and seeing his girlfriend die before his eyes, he feels he has no choice but to send time backward. Telekinetically rip the engine, send it through the time vortex, fulfill his destiny as the living receiver. Don believes that if he does what he's supposed to, this universe will disappear and it will be as if the past 28 days never happened. Gretchen and Frank will still be alive. We assume that the midnight on October 2nd in the primary universe, Donnie Darko wakes up from an exceptionally detailed dream in which he developed superpowers, got lucky, burned down a pervert's house, and discussed sexual habits of Smurfs with his friends. Due to all he's seen and his worries about repeating the mistakes of the Tangent universe, to stay in bed and take the jet engine right in the kisser. The website has all kinds of fun tidbits. The FFA never figures out where the engine came from. Roberta Sparrow, the old lady, finally dies December 1988. The Philosophy Time Travel was sent into the Library of Congress with a cryptid note. The creator of the Smurfs allowed Richard Taylor to keep the Smurf sequence in there because Donnie Darko's description of Smurf sexuality is perfectly accurate. Okay. So how the manipulated? Well, look at the teacher, Drew Barrymore. She behaves strangely, giving the Gretchen the directive to sit next to the boy she finds the cutest. And then Frank helps them get better acquainted by getting Donnie to break that water main. Remember when she says, "I'm really glad school was flooded today"? You and I would never have had this conversation. Donnie Darko just driven to his misbehavior by Mrs. Farmer's moronic love for the cult of Patrick Swayze's reverend. Said misbehavior gets him suspended from after-school activities. That's why he can't attend the talent show and instead free to torch Swayze's house. Once he's exposed as a pervert, Mrs. Farmer can't go to LA with the little girl's dance recital. So Donnie's mom goes. So the house is gone with parents. So then Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal can throw a big party where Donnie gets laid. I think with Donnie Darko, because its mom had to go to LA, she's on the plane. I think it's one of those that she wants to get it done faster to make sure the kids are okay. So then the plane is there quicker. So at the end of the film, like, he's done moments with his mom, moments with his dad. He had moments with this girl, became his girlfriend. So at the end, when he's smiling because he knows he's about to die, but he doesn't feel at all alone. And it's true, like, if this is all, as someone puts it, why does this whole scheme have to be so complicated if no one has true free will? Who knows why anything's complicated? Sorry, I'm just reading through that, just the fully get into my mind again. Of course, you do that on your own, but that's what I mean. It's a lot of interesting food for thought in this movie, and that's what's makes it an intriguing watch. Mixed in with, decent direction, capable cast, some nice song choices. I wonder if you're like deep down he knows this guy, there's something up with him, a feeling with it, or just part of the plan of things being manipulated to where they need to go and need to happen. He's the Antichrist. New girlfriend seemed to like it. Yeah, sit down. She's wanting you to calm the fuck down. No, who the hell's that? It's a cookbook. What do you think it is? The philosophy of time travel is pretty self-explanatory. What is this? It's a cookbook. I mean, it's a fucking... how to make it with a Smurf without any genitalia. It could always be a coincidence. I mean, that's just the truth. It could always be a coincidence. It could always be the case. Well, Stu's the fuck on me for thinking that, dude. Watch. Send her a letter. Oh, ideas. Barely. Do you mean artifacts provide the first sign that a tangent universe has occurred? If an artifact occurs, the living will be treated with great interest and curiosity. Episode of a date. So maybe actually, back then, she was made to write this book and continue this out. Which that'd be very sad that a character has their whole life destroyed just for this one moment. It makes it very depressing to think about with this old lady. That again, her whole goal was just to go back and forth to get this one moment for the car to swerve, kill the girlfriend, and drive Donnie to the edge of fulfilling his destiny. And of course, again, there's many questions like if it takes this much of a gun-ho quality to convince Donnie Darko, aren't there like 50 other better candidates to save the world? Wouldn't there be like 50 other better choices, better characters who are more noble or more open-minded or more selfless and less selfish? But I mean, again, maybe Richard Kelly has an explanation for that. I would ask people questions, but anytime I've asked them during our commentary, no one ever answers, so there's no point, because no one watches the commentaries. No one ever watches these commentaries. But I'll still keep doing them. If they're a paid request, I'll still keep doing them, so maybe one or two people will like them. Maybe you and Frank could read this one together. Watership Down, kind of a fucked up book when you think about it as well. Well, I mean, at least it's not the rain in 7 days. Still have some time left. Chapter 6, The Living Receiver. The living receiver is chosen to guide the artifact into position for his journey back. No one knows how or why. The receiver will be chosen. Well, I guess that answers my question. No one knows how or why the receiver is chosen. So Richard Kelly thought of that. It might be very complicated, but he's still trying to put his own rules into it. At least he's trying, and I know those were not in the theatrical cut. These little scriptures, text of the book, those were not in the theatrical cut. And then depending on what you like, some people like the theatrical cut more because it's more vague. Me, I would say I prefer this because with a movie this complicated, I'm fine with having my hand held more so. I'm fine with that. I found my parents having sex. They were boinking. Bullshit, you found a gun. Hey Seth, didn't you like make a shitty show called Santa Inc? And then aren't you the same guy's gonna fuck up the Ninja Turtles yet again? As they've already been fucked up multiple times and you just wanna, I don't know, finish the job? Seth wrote it. Fucking Woody Woodpecker laugh. Here's the thing with Seth Rogen. I liked Observer Report. I liked Neighbors. He can work in bit parts. But Santa Inc. and some of his other movies and then what he's doing with the Ninja Turtles. Okay, so this is the scene where it's supposed to be at first supposed to be Chud, which is an interesting choice. I wonder what the reason for that would be, but Evil Dead fits well. Kind of fits better with the sound effect when he looks over and there's the bunny back in the box. Because the pounding kind of fits with the atmosphere. Why are you wearing that stupid man suit? Yeah, it seems in retrospect, Evil Dead was just a better fit than Chud. I mean, I love Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. I like Chud, but again, just seems like a very random choice. That's a double feature. Evil Dead and Last Temptation of Christ. Jesus. Literally, Jesus. God, there's 50 minutes left of the film. I forgot. If I'd learned to stop fucking clearing my throat, because I ran out of water. I'm gonna keep the movie going. I'm going to get another bottle of water, so I'll be right back. I'll keep the movie going so it's not losing the timing of it. I'll be back. Alright. Now, see, if this was cuties, they'd be half naked. If Netflix had their druthers, they picked this movie up only if it was, the little kids were half naked, like that cuties movie. That's the thing with the movie, though, is that it's trying to get you to assume a lot of things. Like, without looking it up, would you ever think this guy has telekinetic powers? Would you ever think that, water, fire, this stuff would help be used for this damn time travel thing? But I guess they try to put that in a little bit in this special edition cut. I keep saying director's cut, but probably the director, like, he likes it called more the special edition cut. So I'm looking through the Wikipedia page on some stuff. Okay, that's the end of the Evil Dead. I noticed the music. The ash stream when the POV's coming towards them, and then that music. The film. Oh, this is when they find out that Patrick Swayze's character is a bit more of a pervert. As we get to chapter 10, The Manipulated Dead. And Donnie Darko has an alibi because he's with this girl. The film originated in late... Sorry, I want to listen to this conversation with him and his dad. You're not crazy. I used to be crazy, but you're not crazy. Almost all those people are full of shit. That's a nice moment between father and son. That's a nice moment between the two. Child pornography circuit. October 24, 1980, 6 days remain. That's what you don't... So they're ready to fire Drew Barrymore, but they're only a rude awakening with this Patrick Swayze stuff. I keep wanting to say Patrick Stewart, but it's Patrick Swayze. You failed with your hair, dude. Just shave the rest of it instead of looking like a toilet bowl cleaner. This is where she streams. No, that's a stream. Shout it out. You gotta shout it out. I just looked at the significance, if there is, of Drew Barrymore's character getting fired. her getting fired if there's a bit significance to it. Obviously, this rude awakening for this lady. There you go. Light the tires and light the fires, 'cause your ass is grass. Guess with Drew Barrymore being fired, he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna show the movie, I don't care. The God Machine. There you go. So apparently the film originated in late 1997 when Richard Kelly, 23, graduated from USC. Client's assistant at a post-production house, he thought about his future, decided to write his first feature-length script. Pushed the envelope by combining sci-fi with coming-of-age tale. He would quote a news story that he had read as a child, which he later called an urban legend about a large piece of ice falling from the wing of a plane and crashing through a boy's bedroom who was not there at the time and thus escaped death. I'm sorry, just something about her rhyming. I don't know about your commitment to sparkle motion. Yeah, so you have that moment with the dad as he's away. And now you don't get this moment with the mom. How's it feel for that whacker for her son? She goes, it feels wonderful. Nice little moment. So again, they go off in the airport, but then for the airplane back, from what I understand, the reason it was manipulated to be the mom to do this was so that the other woman would have taken her time coming back, but she wanted to get the red eye, the early flight, to get back to her kids as soon as possible. So the other person would not have gotten an earlier flight. So again, this sort of chess piece domino effect. So I just heard getting fired. She never would have written cellar door on there, which prompts something in his mind. I wonder if there's any deeper thing to this whole thing with this girl who I think has a crush on Donnie. That's the thing with her. Maybe just there to have just another supporting character in there. I remember 100 Proposals. We don't make a movie one day of it. At least there was at one point, believe it or not. Yeah, there was talks of making a 100 Hippos movie. Just like there was talk of making a damn. Fuck yeah. What was it? Tetris. That's what. There was going to be a Tetris movie as well. I'm kind of curious now. He prompted me on that. Oh, someone did like a fake trailer to it. Movie trailer spoof. So yeah, people. Oh, because a Battleship movie came out, so inspired like a bunch of like fake trailers of fake movies. Hasbro's path to Universal fell apart, but now production company Emmett Furler has stepped in and resurrected the defunct Monopoly movie and decided a deal for 2 additional films. One of those would be based on Action Man, British G.I. Joe, and the other would be based on Hungry Hungry Hippos. The Hippo movie will be an animated children's film, which makes sense, but is very disappointing. But yeah, this was like back in 2012. Thankfully, someone thought of it. Just like there was supposed to be a damn Tetris movie. I mean, there is a movie about Tetris, but it's more about the creation of the game. And I think the kid from The Teensman, Taron Egerton's in it. The Russian that invented Tetris, the crazy American that literally went beyond the Cold War curtain and risked everything and stole the bloody thing and brought it back to America. It's like a comedic thriller. But I guess there was, yeah. Just about being agnostic and this is all as I slowly push him into this acceptance and step into fulfilling this whole destiny of his, so to speak. So there's that Halloween party, and there's people in costumes. That's going to lead to the guy with the bunny costume, Frank. Only this is the real one, and he's got to be killed so that it creates this ghost figure that was able to communicate him within these 28 days. Of course, so it looks like Hulk Hogan. Makes sense. It's supposed if it's 88. Cade beers for pussies. Well, you must be a big pussy lover. You fascist, you. Yeah, that's how it'll happen. The manipulated dead will set an insurance trap. The living receiver must ensure the fate of all mankind. Yeah, yeah, sorry I've grown a bit silent. I kind of got sucked into the movie, so I apologize for that. But man, the '80s. I mean, it just there's a reason why to this day there's so many TV shows, movies, ideals, ideas, pop culture that just still enraptured with the '80s. Yes, there were problems going on then, but it still, in a weird way, felt that much more simple compared to the world of today. It still felt that much more simple, that much more convenient. And at the end, it just movies that were more fun and more creative and more cocaine fueled. Music that just had that right beat and gusto, bravado, and everything in between. See that right there showed you that she's going to get an earlier flight. If it was the other person, she would not have tarried, but this one does. And probably the first and only time he's... yeah, I would assume the first and only time he's had sex. Sort of the clenching of his care for... He cared for his family, but even more so for this individual who's now going to be taken away, and the final nail to make him come to a conclusion to fulfill his destiny so that this lady will still be alive. Because the fulfilling it, the 28 days will be gone and this girl will be alive. So it's like he stopped. Frank was here, went to get beer. Tell him the clue of... We have Frank make sure he is a reality, this ghost version of reality in this whole universe situation. Outrun, that's a fun game for the time. I remember Outrun. I remember playing a little bit of that way back in the day. As he puts it, time is run out, we have to go. Now, does any part of him know that this is what exactly has to happen, or does it come off as much of a surprise as it does to the viewer? I guess that's up to other people to decide. Yeah, I mentioned before, y'all. This girl should get her. I guess technically she will be getting her letter because of Donnie. And I just forgot about that part because my memory's not the best when it comes to that. Is this where he finds the gun? I mentioned it was earlier, but maybe this is where he finds the gun. That's why you have the cellar door. I'm trying to remember. Again, not always the best when it comes to details. I apologize for that. Now play the Jaws theme. Oh. Yeah, I'd go to the door to have these two thugs to push them into the position they need to go. Which is Seth Rogen and his buddy. There's the one with the note. Ugh. You need the thugs to get on permission. You had to have the letter in there for the woman to be in there so Frank would swerve. And then the driver of the car, which we'll find out in a bit as to who the driver of this car happens to be. What can drive someone to kill someone, the loss of a loved one, plus will lead to this person being dead, to be the manipulated. Well, simply, Frank. With that creepy mask. I think this guy was at Independence Day as well. I think he was the guy who was Randy Quaid's son. Or one of Randy Quaid's sons, I should say. Yeah, I think he was one of Randy Quaid's son at Independence Day. Go and tell your parents that everything will be okay. The storm is coming, you must hurry. So she knows just as well as he does what's all going on. Again, does that mean like this whole woman's life was pretty much sacrificed to lead up to this moment? If so, that'd be very sad. But she was a woman of God. And if maybe that was like, hey, she's a woman of God and nun, and this is her, her fate or something. Remembers goodbye to his sister, the only one who's there. The T's right by to what was a Blockbuster video card. Thankfully, no one. I guess that guy never got to the cops, so no cops have been here before he could do all this. So looking to the heavens, going, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm going to do. But the storm that's coming. Okay, fine, I'm going to do it. Her face looks good for someone who got, run over by a car. Hell, you fell off a ladder, like this 2 feet. You get a cut on your face, but run over by a car, no marks on her face. Damn. There's the cops. And this will lead to the finale where the plane's going by, he rips the engine out, send him back to the vortex, 28 days go by, go back, what you say, back to the beginning, but things are now settled, and she's going to be okay. That one guy, Frank's going to be okay. And there you go. That's a decent visual effect, I'll give you that. That's a decent one, that wide shot. That was the goal, to rip the engine out. But again, like, if in the theatrical cut, you would never know this whole telekinetic stuff to it. Then visual representation of the 28 days didn't happen. As we rewind all those moments, but the people are going to remember. All the people experiences are going to have these memories. Now, how vivid they are, maybe some more than others. Now him laughing, is he laughing because look what I did, I was able to save the world, it worked, she's alive, I know my family cares for me. I'm not alone, and that's his first worst fear is to be alone. But now he had enough time to walk up and leave, but either this has to happen, otherwise he thinks he'll screw up more stuff or something else. That's up to someone else to figure out. I think there's another deleted scene where you see that he's been impaled. But I did see why that was cut out, because we get the gist of it here. Like, we get the gist of it here. Chapter 12, Dreams. When the manipulated awaken from their journey, they are often haunted by experiencing their dreams. Many of them will not remember. Those who do remember the journey are often overcome with... I couldn't read the rest of it. So, I mean, like, most of the time I won't remember. There'll be these certain few that remember something, or felt something. So that was the therapy lady. There's Noah Wyle. Really enjoy this song, Mad World. It's been used. It was in the trailer for the Crazies remake, video games, Swayze's character. Wait till I realize how much of a pervert he is. I think on the website there's some talk like the character killed himself a week or two later. This lady waited up realizing who this reverend she looked up to really is. I do say reverend, I don't know. This girl maybe smiling a bit, which is what Donnie said to her. This is Frank, his design of his costume party. Then he touches his eye here. Yeah, the eye that was shot through. Again, very nice song. Like I said, I know those video games use this, and I think the trailer for the Crazies remake, I think it was that. You know, the guys say the world is tragic. And you get the sadness of the family showcasing. And the mom is pretty much dazed. and then maybe the slightest, didn't know him, but the slightest, maybe slightest hint of recognition, even subconsciously. Like they don't know why, but maybe deep down, something they feel. The kids try to wave, and then she's like, I don't give a fuck about you, kid. Shut up, kid. Cares about you. But yeah, that's Donnie Darko. Executive producer Drew Barrymore. Her production company helped get this financed. But yeah, I mean, sorry I got silent in the second half, but just kind of just commenting on the movie as it goes along. And still a pretty interesting film. Still a pretty interesting movie, I will say. Interesting. Makes you think, makes you wonder, makes you ponder about certain things. They said pretty interesting stuff. I quite liked it. And capable cast, intriguing script. Yeah, convoluted, confusing, but at the same time, I'll say before I say it again, I'll take this over David Lynch stuff. I just don't find those appealing. The layers to unravel, I don't care to do that with them. This, it does intrigue me to do. And then it's sad that he did Southland Tales, which was just very, very boring. And then The Botch was just very forgettable. And then that's pretty much it. But sadly, that's what happens with a lot of directors. They have that one film. It's like the director of Session 9, Brad Anderson, and then afterward, I mean, I didn't mind The Machinist with Christian Bale, but the others, not so much. Sometimes they have that one movie to carry them over, and then what else is left? But anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys later.